Australia has won the toss and is running with the westerly breeze. It's a moderate breeze, but a good toss to win, Mark Ella.
Yes, it is a good one, even though it doesn't appear to be very strong. I'm sure that Michael Lyon will put those kicks long and deep very early, and you'll need all the assistance he can get.
The Bledisloe Cup decider is underway, and immediately a good jump there by Mike Brewer, and the All Blacks put into touch 10-metre line Australian territory. There he is, number 6, Mark Cowboy Shaw.
I'm sure Simon Poitevin will stick very close to Cowboy Shaw, but one thing he can't fall in for is that to get caught up in that thuggery.
Loose tap by Australia, 25 metres out from the New Zealand goal line. So New Zealand with the throw, and it's Hika, the happy hooker from Nongataha. Number 2, unemployed nightclub bouncer from Rotorua. Brewer, thumped by Papworth. New Zealand on the short side, Bottiga, Stanley, away from Papworth. Kerwin came inside. 10 metres out from the Australian goal line. Here they go again, they're swinging it wide. And a bad mistake there, I think, by Stone. Australia was stretched on the right. Recharging into the Aussie forwards. First penalty of the game.
Well, that was good play from the All Blacks, particularly in the opening movement. They're really shown that they're going to throw the ball around. I thought Australia were a little bit unlucky not to be given a penalty. Andrew Slack was deliberately taken out by Stanley, his opposite number, and really took him out of the game.
So now it's all with Kieran Crowley, the Taranaki dairy farmer, placing it on the 22. He had a horror match here at Eden Park last year, missing 6 kicks. He's been recalled to the New Zealand side in place of Greg Cooper, who must have been a bit unlucky to lose his position. Crowley played in the first 3 Cavaliers tests against the Springboks and was dropped for the last one. It's only 15 metres to the right of the uprights. 2 minutes of play gone. Kieran Crowley for New Zealand. What a start by the young fullback. First blood for New Zealand.
What Australia have got to do now is just forget about that. That quick goal by Crowley only came in the first couple of minutes. Now it's Australia's turn. We've virtually got to do the same. Whether it's a long kick or a short kick, we've got to really get in there and get amongst these Kiwis.
Well, Australia has started badly in most of their games on tour, and that's something they've been working on in the lead up to this test match. Certainly they lost the Carisbrook test in the first 10 minutes of play. New Zealand with a 3-point advantage. This is John Kerwin to Bottiga with the angle. And so far, everything going for the All Blacks. But Australia up in New Zealand territory for the first time. Look for Simon Poitevin coming into things here. But barging in the line out by New Zealand. And here's the chance to reply for Michael Lynagh.
I understand that referee Anderson was very quick to penalise any infringement in the line-out, and it is a tendency in the UK for the teams that are kicking off early to put a long ball in, go for the line-out, and almost invariably a penalty results from it.
So Michael Lynagh, who must also have bad memories of Eden Park. Up till then, it was his only test loss in Australian colours at junior or senior level. And he missed 4 penalty attempts here last year, but played with a broken finger. "25 metres out. He struck it pretty well. Scores a level. 5 minutes gone in the test match.
Well, that's just what Michael Lynagh needed very early to reply to that New Zealand goal. It was a great kick. Hopefully his confidence is really sought after that, and we can start to, you know, settle down to some good play.
So Crowley coming up for the restart. He made his test debut against England last year and played very well in that game, kicking 6 penalties. Lawton setting up the ruck for Australia. Charged down by Kirk. And fortunately into touch. Excellent play from the All Black skipper. Seven metres out from Australia's goal line. Lawton to throw. Won by Pearce. New Zealand ball. Jock Hobbs, short side. Taken well by Campbell. McDowell. Low driving by New Zealand. Kirk calls for it. Good line for New Zealand here. Craig Green. Australia push them back. Picker-Reid mauling the ball. But they have it now. Bodiger. Stanley. Standing in the tackles. Kerwin couldn't take the ball. Mark Shaw lost it ahead.
Well, that good play by New Zealand all started with intelligent back play by winger Green. He realised that there were far too many Australians standing out. Decided to take a short ball from Kirk and set it up again just so he can give his backs a little bit more room.
New Zealand was able to push Australia back in the slippery conditions at Dunedin in a couple of scrums. Lynagh now with more time, and that's a much better kick. Well, Alan Jones said it would be mad dog attacking stuff from the All Blacks in the first 20 minutes, and Australia had to survive that period. So far, they've done it well. Murray Pearce had pilfered that ball in the line out. Here's Green. Brilliant tackle by Mark Harthill. And a little knock on there by the New Zealand skipper.
It's good work by Simon Poitevin. Really, Kirk was going for that ball, but Poitevin foraging through the All Black ruck, then stopped a good momentum.
Lynagh, this is a beautiful kick. Taking play to within 35 metres of the New Zealand goal line. A gain there of nearly 50 metres. So Picker-Reid, who threw well in the second test. Cutler coming through. Jumping off shoulders. Mr. Gary Wetton, penalty 15 metres in. Another chance for Australia.
Well, that penalty was a little bit confusing. I'm sure it was thrown up the forward, up the front of the line out, and yet referee Anderson penalised some of the All Blacks at the back.
I don't think the Wallabies will be complaining. Lynagh in a very handy position here. 35 out and about 15 off centre. New Zealand have shown they're keen to run the ball at the Australians this afternoon. 9 minutes gone. This to give Australia the lead. Another great kick. 2 out of 2 for Lynagh. He moves to 192 points in Test match football. Lynagh, the leading point scorer on tour, 76 before today. New Zealand crowd pretty silent at the moment. Coming up to 10 minutes of play in this third international. Series locked at 1-1. Steve Tyman underneath. Flick back. Miller was there, picking up the crumbs. Australia trying to control it. They've taken it forward. Here's Liner, hurried kick. Hasn't found touch, Craig Green. Crowley, Miller in front. Green on the burst. Good pass to Kirk. Lost ahead New Zealand. Well, they're certainly having a go at the Australian defence. Tight head New Zealand. Stone. Caught by Far Jones. He got away. This must almost be a try to Bodica. Just short of the goal line.
Well, New Zealand have really shown they're going to move this ball and try and run straight at the Australians. And, you know, thank God the guys are really up to the effort then, but they're going to be right you know, up to it today.
Arthur Stone breaching the Australian line. Scrum only 3 metres out. Bodica held up just short. The All Blacks, have they got the strength to go for the pushover? They had live scrummaging practice against the North Harbour provincial side at training on Wednesday. Ferocious session it was too. Now they go short side. Brewer to Kirk. Kerwin couldn't hold on. The Australian defence mark was well organised there.
Well, they made no mistake on that occasion. You know, we've seen in the test in Dunedin that Kirk exploited that blindside very well, but on that occasion, we're just too good.
Bad pass by Far Jones. 5 metre scrum. All Black pressure mounting. Australia leading 6-3. 12 minutes gone. Bodica cut out to Stanley. Now it's out to Green. He knocked on. Australia, can they counter-attack? Matthew Burke. 10 metres from halfway. Steve Tyman marking Brewer at the back. Taken away by Gary Wetton, running at Liner and Far Jones, standing in the tackle. Good ball for New Zealand. Bodica. Green some support. Hobbs couldn't get it.
Again, Bodica chose the wrong option. There were plenty of New Zealand players out to the right, but he went the wrong way, and unfortunately, Hobbs wasn't in a position to take that pass.
So now it's Neil Femilton, the New Zealand physiotherapist from Invercargill. And the Wallabies certainly had a marvellous win down there. 55 points to 0. The heaviest defeat ever for the First Division side by a touring team. Gary Wetton certainly made a great charge upfield. I thought he was Artie Beetson there for a second.
Today's rugby game and the entire tour.
We'll see there, all of a sudden Gary Wetton jumps out of that ruck and really just goes straight at Far Jones and Liner, and you could see him there, the determination just to go forward, and the best thing about it, he fell with the ball on the right side for Kirk to really just flick it up for Bodica.
Well, that was a bad pass from Bodica to Jock Hobbs, who skippered the Cavaliers in South Africa in the last 3 tests. 3-point advantage for Australia. 14.5 minutes gone. Brewer won it. Now it's Bodica to Stone, running straight at the Australians. Stanley couldn't hold on. Andrew leads with his first touch, and Far Jones. That's a fine punt kick up towards halfway, but he hasn't found the touch. Green over halfway with Crowley. Good tackle by Miller. Brewers mauling the ball. Australia may be able to ruck this back. Far Jones can see it. Well, a little bit of a instruction there from Far Jones to Mr. Anderson, who says, yes, I saw it. Little hand in the ruck there by New Zealand. And a relieving penalty for Australia. Liner's going to have a shot here, Mark Hiller. And allowing for the angle, he must be 60 metres out from goal.
Well, you know, I was walking on the pitch before the game with the players, and in all honesty, it doesn't look that far away, even though it is the required 50 metres from halfway. It still looks very close, and I'm sure the little bit of breeze that is blowing higher up will assist Michael in this kick.
Well, we must remember that Michael Hawker kicked a field goal from 55 metres out here at Eden Park in '82.
Well, that's right. It was a magnificent kick by Michael then, and I'm sure that Liner is aware of this, and you know, he's taken a really big run up, and I'm sure he'll get the distance.
What a kick this will be. Well, he won't have the distance. Crowley. This is Arthur Stone charging ahead to Green. Bottica, nice step. 35 metres out. Brewer cleared it to shore. Now it's Stone, but there's no one out here for New Zealand. Crowley back to short side, caught by Miller. And Kirk hurries the ball into touch. So Craig Green feeling his left arm. Certainly favouring it. Brewer doing some good work in the line out, but a bad ball there for halfback Kirk. It was just too hard. Cool conditions, 16 degrees the temperature. Liner to Papworth. Now it's Leeds. Knock on by Australia. Matthew Burke not able to pick up that time.
Well, that was good work by Leeds on that occasion. It's the first time he's touched the ball in the game. But when he was tackled, he just placed the ball for his loose forwards. Unfortunately, they couldn't pick it up cleanly.
Blindside move by Crowley. There's an overlap here. Stanley. Good tackle over the top. Simon Poitevin. McDowell. Good barge by him. Kirk to Bottica. Stanley. Stone's outside. Stanley having a go to Hobbs. Good support, New Zealand. 5 metres from halfway. Excellent ruck ball for the All Blacks. Overlap here again. Crowley. Green. He's had a horror day with his hands, but he's certainly favouring his left arm. New Zealand's leading try scorer last year with 21. Canterbury's leading try scorer during the Ranfurly Shield reign just can't catch the ball.
Well, that was good play by New Zealand. They're willing to really move this ball, and thank God the Australian defensive line kept intact. They didn't lose their panic. When the New Zealanders went right and then left, there was Australians to answer the call.
Well, this really is a sad moment for Craig Green, the 25-year-old from Christchurch. He had a great day against the Wallabies playing for Canterbury when they thumped the Australians by 30-10 just 3 weeks back, scoring a hat-trick of tries that day. But he certainly appears to be in a bit of trouble. Well, Peter Grigg, the Australian winger who was dropped for this test after playing in the first 2 tests, how do you see things so far?
Well, it's at the moment it's a fairly even contest, I think, Gordon. At the moment, the All Blacks have spent most of this half in the Australian territory, which is a bit unusual, seeing that the Australians got the breeze. The All Blacks are tending to keep the ball in the hand. They're not kicking as much as I thought they would do. And Australia, on the other hand, are kicking a lot more.
Yes, well, they're certainly moving the ball, New Zealand. Are you surprised they're moving it so much?
Well, I think they've got to try and get their forwards involved in the game a lot more. In Dunedin, I found that the All Black forwards were outplayed by the Australian team, and I think they've got to try and keep them involved.
Good kick by Far Jones. This is probing for the touchline. He's gained 55 metres with that one. 10 out from the goal line. Nicholas Campbell, Far Jones. So it's Australia still enjoying this 3-point lead. Brewer, 2 from the back. Taken by Cutler. Great take. He slips the ball back for the Australians. Liner to Papworth. Here's Burke. Liner. Papworth! Brett Papworth! Must be a try if he can pick it up, Leeds. He's going for the line. He's there in his first test. What a moment for Andrew Leeds. I think his father, Rob, has just gone through the roof. His mother, Ilga, has just dropped her knitting. Andrew Leeds has scored first for Australia.
What a magnificent try. And it all started from Steve Cutler, that giant. He just took this ball up, set it up, and it went straight along the back line. Papworth got it, and watch the step here. Papworth went straight through inside Kerwin. I thought the try was going to break down there when the pass went across slack, but Leeds kept his eyes on the ball and really stretched over. Green was trying to push him over, and there he goes for the line. Great try. This man, Papworth, he set it all up again. Leeds was really unmarked, and the ball just had to go into his hands, but, you know, he really had to struggle, and he reached out. A great effort.
Yes, certainly the strength of Leeds coming to the fore there. And we recall that only 5 months ago, he was playing first-grade football in Sydney. He's risen to test status now, and what a moment for him in the 20th minute of the first half. Liner, attempted conversion. Well, Liner certainly having a great day with the boot, and Australia away to a 9-point lead. Liner 3 from 4. 1 conversion and 2 penalties. Remember, the All Blacks led 13-3 at Dunedin. Australia now in the driver's seat. And let's not forget too, that all came from a great two-handed take by big Steve Cutler when he ran through the All Black line out. Bill Campbell at number 2. Jeff Miller at the back to Poitevin. Australian drive in. Rodriguez slipping it back. Harthill goes in. But good control there by the Australian forwards.
It's in situations like that where we really must try and get that ball back. The backs were all lined up, ready to attack. And, you know, if we can only get that ball and just let them go.
Just short of halfway. Bar Jones again working the short side, varying his game. Crowley. Campisi couldn't take him. And there's the Cowboy and his old sparring partner, Simon Poitevin. A debut try by Andrew Leeds, converted by Liner, who's also kicked 2 penalties. Bar Jones puts everyone on side. Gary Knight, the former Commonwealth Games wrestling bronze medalist, running into touch on the 22. Quick throw. Bar Jones. Good clearance. Slack. He's wrapped up. Brewer the tackler. Well, there was an opportunity there for Australia, but they still have another one. And Steve Tyman in the hands of the Australian physio. Campisi looks to be down there with him. I don't know whether Campisi's hurt, Mark, but Steve Tyman, who injured his ribs in a torrid game against Bay of Plenty and had a couple of days off earlier this week, walking back slowly to his position. And certainly a good settler for the Australians, who find themselves leading by 9 points. 24 minutes gone. Bar Jones claps on the speed. Inside is Poitevin. Tyneman's there. Miller. And the opportunity is lost. Well, I don't know why Simon didn't keep going there.
Well, I think Simon knew he wasn't going to make the distance, but he just should have kept on powering forward, and if he was going to be tackled, just place the ball and wait for the Australians to come over the top of him.
Rodriguez charges ahead. Good ball again for the Australian backs. Papworth to Burke. Hickory to McDowell. New Zealand drive in. Bodiger. That's the kick they were looking for. Ten-metre line, Australian territory. The crowd yelling their support from the northern stand for the All Blacks. 12-3 to the Wallabies. Liner to Papworth. John Kerwin underneath. They're running back at the Aussies. Crowley to Kerwin. Shaw. Hickory. Wetton. Great support, New Zealand. But they didn't control. Play on, says the referee. Campese. New Zealand coming in waves. Andrew Slack just arguing with the referee.
Well, I think Andrew Slack's got a right to argue with the referee. Obviously, he was playing advantage to Australia when the All Blacks made a very obvious knock-on. He should have pulled it up then and there rather than let it go, and Australia compounded the error by throwing some crazy passes. See, Campo tries to step around Hobbs, but loses his footing and throws another pass back to Leeds, who was run into by Brett Papworth.
So now it's Crowley, who's placed the ball just outside the 22. Just a few little specks of rain here at the moment. Just a powdery rain falling. But things looking pretty bleak out the back in the west. So I think we're going to have heavier rain before this match is out. Crucial kick for Kieran Crowley. He's done it. 6 the difference. 28 gone first half. Well, we certainly can't complain about the goal kicking this afternoon. 5 out of 6 from the number 10 Australia and 15 for New Zealand. Brewer clears to Kerwin, to Bottica. They're running again. Stone, Crowley, Gray-Green, Campese across. It's Slack. Mark Shaw into Papworth. Bumped him out of the way. Now they can run it again. David Kirk to Bottica, to Stone, to Stanley. Kerwin's outside. John Kerwin. Wetton. Very positive play from the All Blacks. Arthur Stone held on. And Gary Knight's well offside.
Well, that was magnificent play by the All Blacks. We should have had him cornered when they started to run the ball in their own 25. You know, we should have really clobbered Green when he got the ball and stopped the movement right there.
36 metres out from the Australian goal line. Light rain falling. Timon just controlling at the back. High one for Kerwin. Burke coming through. He made a hash of it. John Kerwin, 21 years of age. Had all the time in the world. Australia now looking for further points. Liner. Drop goal attempt. He's got the distance. Well, all the back play so far has been from New Zealand. Australia have used their backs once and scored a try. Brewer, who's having a strong game for New Zealand. Australian players getting on the wrong side of the ball. Mark Harthill, the man penalised. Well, these New Zealand men are desperate. They're down 6 points. But remember that New Zealand has won 8 test matches in the last 9 years by a point. A very resilient team.
I think there's a little bit confusion here. David Kirk obviously thought he'd try and put the up and under. I really don't know why he didn't give it to Boddicker to put up.
Cutler losing the ball ahead. Simon Poitevin on this side, playing his 14th test against New Zealand, which is more than any other player in test match history. Cut out now for Crowley, and here's Boddicker. Great run of this man, Kerwin. Brett Papworth doing some good defensive work. Kerwin was tackled. He had a knee on the ground. He didn't release the ball. So a mistake by New Zealand.
Well, it's good defence by Brett Papworth. He covered 2 men. He appeared to fall over, but still got to his feet and pressured Kerwin. Well,
Peter Grigg, things are looking promising for the Australians at the moment.
Yes, they are, Gordon. Unfortunately, there's a big rainstorm coming over. I don't know how promising that's going to be for us in the second half, especially with the strong wind that the New Zealanders are going to be running with. The All Blacks, as I said before, are using the ball, keeping it in their hands, and I've just done something here that I've never ever seen done playing all my years against the All Blacks, and that was running from inside their 25. They're being very enterprising today, and the Australians have got to be on their guard. We've got to be able to have a lot more talk in the defence, and let's not commit ourselves to too many men at once.
So Liner now. He's kicked 3 from 4. This one on the 10-metre line, New Zealand territory. Centimetres in from the touchline. It's gone wide. So Australia still leading by 6. Farr Jones has tackled the man. The referee said yes, it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't deliberate, but he has no alternative but to award the dropout. I think what's going to happen, the dropout. I think Brian Anderson was going to award a penalty there, but was talked out of it by Kirk. This is Stanley to Kerwin and Brewer. Oh, big charge by Brewer. Jock Hobbs. Well, as Peter Grigg said, the Australians are going to have to be very wary because it's the All Blacks who are doing all the running at the moment.
It's going to be interesting to see if the All Blacks can keep going at this pace. They've got a few old guys in there. The likes of Knight and Shaw really can't chase forever.
Papworth. That one's sailing well out. And really, that's a bad omen because Australia had space there, and that was wasted. Timon takes it well. Cutler drives in, wrapped up by Pearce. Australia try to edge it forward. Farr Jones can see it. And again, some illegal play there from the All Blacks as the ball popped out for Australia. Australia still leading by 12-6. It's a huge kick by Liner. Close to the touchline, Craig Green. The ball's rolled ahead, but it was tapped sideways. Referee lets it go. Botica. Stone. Inside is Botica. Now it's Kerwin. Dazzling running from the All Blacks. Hickareed. 22-metre line, Australia. Botica again to Stanley. Crowley's in. Craig Green tripped over his man. And there we had a knock-on by New Zealand, but champagne football from the All Blacks.
That's unbelievable running from the All Blacks. I don't think I've ever seen them run so well, and they're really getting behind their ball players and supporting him, something that Australia's just not doing.
Well, the psychological advantage with the All Blacks, although they're trailing by 6 points. Liner. Kick off the side. Crowley short of halfway. Green looming up in support. Crowley follows. Green's onside. Liner has the second bite and makes no mistake.
Well, it's just shown how vital it is for Australia to put those kicks into touch. Just about every time New Zealand have counter-attacked, and not only they made the ground, but they've sort of made 30 or 40 yards extra.
37 minutes gone. Take off a little bit of time for injuries. Australia leading 12-6. Cleared by Lawton badly to Far Jones. He's wrapped up. Pearce comes in. All Blacks ruck it back. But Australia says, no, we'll have it, thanks. Cleared by Miller. Slack. Miller. They're going backwards, Australia. Now they arrive in numbers. Slack. Well, they've got a kicking disease at the moment, the Australians. Botica. I tell you what, the All Blacks will run it. Crowley to Botica. Couldn't get the pass to Kerwin, but here's Stanley supporting. The Australians really stretched at the moment. Kerwin on the short side. Now he flicks it back the open. They're short on numbers out here. Tommy Lawton was the tackler. Campbell toes ahead. This is Gary Knight, the tight head prop. Kirk is there. And now it's Craig Green. Slack, the tackler. Clever play by Green. Leeds did well. Wetton. The ball being kept alive by New Zealand. Here they go again. Overlap. Stone. Crowley's outside. Kerwin. New Zealand still charging ahead. Brewer. Just short. Well, we saw a try-saving tackle by Michael Liner on the far side on Kerwin. Or was it Steve Tyneman? One of the two. But just scintillating rugby from the All Blacks.
That's some of the most unbelievable rugby I've seen in 3 or 4 years. I just can't believe the way the All Blacks are throwing this ball around. They got many numbers in support. We see Crowley just going through, went under Kerwin. I think this is where Michael Liner made the try-saving tackle, really put Kerwin on the deck. But I think the next one was the most important one. It looked like Hickareed was trying to pick the ball up and go over himself, but he was driven back. I think we'll see it just coming up here.
And he ran into Topo. Look at that tackle.
Rodriguez, yeah, really drove him backwards, and that stopped the play for Australia.
Rodriguez will never do a more important tackle in his life. What's this one?
Topo got down very low and just drove into Hickareed.
Well, the Australians have been run ragged over the last 10 minutes. Peter Grigg.
Yes, well, I think the All Blacks at the moment have got the Australian team very flustered, and we're seeing desperation defence on both sides of the paddock. Hopefully we can hold out. We've done it before, but this is an amazing All Black side. I've never seen it before, as Mark Miller has said.
Kerwin copped an accidental boot to the head as the rain is now a little heavier, and Australia against the Westerly in the second half. Very close to half-time now. Australia still leading by 12-6, and let's hope it's not another one-point result. Rodriguez cleaning up for Australia. And not a big gain there for the Australians. 35 metres out from their goal line.
Well, the rain's really pouring down now, and that can only help Australia. They've got a 6-point lead. The New Zealanders are trying to throw everything at Australia, but to our credit, we're holding them out. And as the game develops, that can only become more and more frustrating for the All Blacks, and hopefully with this wet weather, create more mistakes.
Good jump by Mark Shaw. Stone again. Green in the line. Taken a little bit high there by Burke. McDowell. Joe Stanley. Crowley. And Andy Slack, the Australian skipper there at the death. 5 metres out.
Again, the New Zealand backs have got this persistent habit of trying to take Australian backs out without the ball. David Campese was in a defensive situation. I think it was after Stone just cleaned him up.
Still Australia leads by the 6 points. The only try of the game to Leeds. Here comes Kerwin. Taken by Papworth. I think Jeff Miller may have spoilt that one. Yes, it was Jeff Miller, the Queensland University flanker, who managed to kill that ball. So just a minute now before half-time. There's the Aussie forward pack just having a breather. As attention now for Jeff Miller. Greg Craig, who's done a mighty job with this Australian team. Physiotherapist. Almost a minor miracle that he was able to get Campese out on the field 100% fit after a hamstring strain against Southland.
I don't like the look of Jeff Miller's face, as we just witnessed between one of our players' legs. He appears to be in a lot of pain, and it seems to be his jaw area, which is common, I suppose, when Australia play the All Blacks.
Well, Jeff Miller may be lucky to continue here by the look of things.
Yeah, he's definitely holding his jaw.
And this would be a cruel blow, because he really is the speed merchant in this Australian side. And Ross Reynolds warming up for the Australians. Miller says he'll continue. What a gutsy little player he is. Still light rain falling. Australia spoil the scrum ball. Papworth. Huge kick by Papworth. And what a great scrum there by the Australians. They wheeled and then shoved. And the New Zealand ball was splintered. Half-time here at Eden Park. Australia leading the All Blacks by 12 points to 6. Let's quickly run through the scorers. Andrew Leeds, a try in his first test match after 20.5 minutes. It was converted by Liner, who's also kicked 2 penalties. And for New Zealand, Kieran Crowley, 2 penalty goals. Half-time, Australia leading New Zealand in this Bledisloe Cup decider by 12 points to 6. Second half underway. And first touch now for John Kerwin of the second half. And he's gained about 15 metres. Australia with the 6-point lead at half-time. All players have resumed their places after the break. John Kerwin with a An eye which looks almost as though it's out like a balloon at the moment. Liner, field goal attempt. He's second of the game.
What we've really got to try and do is try and run the ball at the New Zealanders. Obviously, their confidence would be sky high. And we've just got to sort of try and halt that momentum that they've gained in the first 40 minutes by trying to attack our own way and sort of trying to control the ball rather than kicking aimlessly.
Andrew leads. 10-metre line. Papworth in support. Brewer just outside the 22. Taken by Miller. Bodiger. Stone. Stanley. Knocked back. Now Arthur Stone, the former Waikato player, now with the Bay of Plenty, finding touch on the 10-metre line. Arthur Stone actually was dropped from the Waikato side and took off to the United States and played out in Los Angeles.
Well, that was much better defence by the Australians. It's going to be a little bit harder now for the New Zealanders to throw that ball around. The wet, greasy condition of the ball will make it very hard.
Simon Poitevin setting up play. Rodriguez Mauls. Here they go on the short side. Ball came to Campese. Now it's Harthill. Far Jones kicked ahead. Tyneman leads outside. Up to the 22. Stanley the tackler. Slack. Back to Miller. Australia lost ahead. Shaw. Referee plays advantage. Bodiger's kick. Looking for touch. Campese's back. David Campese, who's battled a hamstring injury. Takes the safety. Inside the 22, but New Zealand's going to run it again. Crowley. Stone. Good tackle again by Miller. Chance for Australia. Campbell. Poitevins inside. Now it's Slack. He couldn't get it out. Slack there. Can they slip it back, Australia? Here it comes. Far Jones. 2 or 3 men outside. Still a chance for Australia. Liner. Papworth. The little jinker. Steve McDowell saved the day. Picked up the loose ball. New Zealand live again. Campese. Campese went for a very ambitious drop goal. It went through the posts all right. And some very tired players out there after another furious passage of play. Four minutes gone in the second half. Well, Campese, certainly not the confident player we knew. That's not a bad kick, though. It landed out on the full by centimetres. But even the great Campese, just in two minds at the moment. The Australians aren't decisive, Mark Ella.
Well, David Campese's confidence is obviously still very much shattered from the Dunedin test. He should have really taken that ball at full pace, and he sprinted back and tried to beat a man. You know, he hasn't had many opportunities, so he's got to make every one count. And you know, doing kicks like that are just not good at all.
Australia still in front on the scoreboard. Campbell tapped it back, but he's been ruled offside. So this one within kicking range for Kieran Crowley. Crowley has a 100% record in the game so far, with 2 penalty goals. And this one would really send a shiver through the Australian camp if he's successful. Five minutes gone, second half. "37 metres out. 15 in from touch. Light rain still falling at Eden Park. Nearly 50,000 people. Wait for Kieran Crowley. Distance is okay. Accuracy, no. His first miss. And a fine dropout by Liner, just short of the halfway line. Rodriguez said before the game, Australia must have speed, control and concentration. Cutler got it. Farr-Jones gets over the gain line. The referee spotted a hand in the ruck. So Liner's going to have a shot for goal. It's certainly worth a chance. The ball a little bit greasy, Mark Ella, but this one within Michael Liner's range.
Well, the wind has almost dropped to just a nice gentle breeze, so I don't think Michael will worry about the distance at all.
This one would be a body blow for the All Blacks, a 9-point lead for Australia. New Zealand has really played all the rugby in this game, but Australia is still 6 points ahead on the scoreboard. It's a big kick, just falling short. Crowley running out at full pace. Matthew Burke, he hasn't seen much of the ball. He's chasing hard. Crowley's outside the 22. Matt Burke. Good tackle. Cutler's there. Farr-Jones. Lawton. Cutler's inside. Tommy Lawton. Look at him go. Farr-Jones again. Sniping. Australia slip it back. Who's at halfback? Jeff Miller. No, it was Slack. Leads to Campisi. Sandwich in the tackle. New Zealand come away. Cowboy Shaw. No fullback there for Australia. Campisi going back. And here comes Frano Bottinger. Well, that was cool play from Campisi. Australia attacking strongly. Didn't have the numbers. New Zealand did, and played back into Australian territory.
New Zealand have got to be very careful. I think they're trying to overdo this, running it from their own 25. What Australia have got to do is come up very quickly, try and cut off that running very early, and I think New Zealand will make more mistakes.
Bodiger to Stone. This time they're trying to set up things. Hobbs is there. Kirk calling for it. Chip ahead for Bodiger. Nick Farr-Jones keeps the ball in play. Crowley caught out of position. Jeff Miller, the tackler. Well, he really is Mr. Perpetual Motion, Jeff Miller. He's pulled off some superb defence this afternoon. Cowboy Shaw again, streaming through the Australian line-out. Well, that was perhaps a silly penalty to give away that one. Bill Campbell obviously felt the ball was out. The referee in no situation to say it wasn't. Great take there by Leeds. But New Zealand have the ball. He's Bodiger. Liner and Farr-Jones, the tacklers. Jock Hobbs, the man penalised, number 7. Hand in the ruck. Bodiger has left the field 3 times this season with a shoulder injury. But it looks as though the problem's further down. Let's wait and see.
This was good defence by the Australian backline. Boddicker put his ears back and really tried to go straight through the Australian defence, but it held tight. And that's where New Zealand are going to get into problems. They're going to try and do too much in their eagerness to try and get that ball back, and that's what Australia have got to sweat on.
Well, the referee probably deserves a breather. Although it's out of season for Brian Anderson, he's certainly not out of condition. The game has been played at a hectic pace, but he had a couple of first-class games as lead-ups, the most recent being last Tuesday, Wellington and Southland. Now this would be a real problem for New Zealand, Mark, if Boddicker left the field, because they don't really have a 5/8 in the replacements. They have halfback Dean Kenny and Marty Berry, who's a rather awkward centre from Wairarapa Bush. So I guess the halfback Dean Kenny would come on and play 5/8 to David Kirk if Boddicker can't continue.
Well, I know Arthur Stone has played a little bit in the 5/8 position. It's hard to guess what they do, but if I was the New Zealand coach, I think I'd put Arthur Stone in closer.
We have 29 minutes to go in the test, and this has been a long injury break here for Joe Stanley. Let's look at the lineouts, and Australia ahead there by 11-7 after leading 7-5 at half-time. New Zealand has really dominated the rucks and mauls, 22-10. So, well, it looks as though Mark Eller's going to be right here if that does happen, because Marty Berry warming up, and that would mean Stone would move to 5/8. Well, there's the cup at the moment. The Aussie eyes are on it. They're 6 points ahead. Boddicker continues, just as Bill Osborne did in 1982 in the third test, when New Zealand won by 33-18.
Well, that's going to be a real problem for New Zealand. They've attempted to run the ball just about every chance they got, but now their #1 playmaker, Boddicker, is obviously hobbling on that heavily strapped right knee.
Ball just a little slippery as Kirk sets it back loosely. Brewer clears to Green. Well, he had nowhere to move that time and finds touch on the 10-metre line. Well, one sense is that the All Blacks have thrown everything at the Australians, who've held out stoically. And now it's a chance for Australia to come back and really ram home this 6-point advantage. Slack to Papworth. Bad pass to Leeds. Here's Burke. Stanley to tackler. Well, there's Mark Shaw, #6, going to the back of the line-out. He'd appreciate just a little bit of sting out of the ground. He's not the quickest man around the field. Cutler jumping at 4, Campbell at 2. Brewer again. Quickly cleared the stone. We haven't seen too much kicking, but that's not a bad one.
Well, that was a good kick by Stone, and New Zealand has got to start to use a little bit more kicking. They've got to start to vary their play, otherwise they fall into the predictable pattern of trying to run on all occasions, and that will fall into Australia's hands.
The rain has stopped. The breeze has died, but it's Australia in front by 6 points. Well, the lineouts have kept Australia in this game. They've won their 13th. Mike Brewer, two-hander, taken by Gary Wetton. And good work by the Australian forwards, but not good enough. I thought they may have pushed them back a metre there, Mark.
Well, I thought they'd done enough to warrant the feed into that scrum. New Zealand weren't going anywhere, and I thought, as you said, they were going slightly backwards.
22-metre line. Arthur Stone has called a backline move. Kirk to Green. Campese the tackler. Pass went forward. "14 minutes gone. Second half. Australia leading 12-6. That was the half-time score. Liners kick again, charged down. This time by David Kirk. Leeds is back there to save the day. Rodriguez trying to come through and spoil the New Zealand ball. And the referee spotted it. A black hand.
Paul, that try was saved, I think, by Andrew Leeds. Once that kick from Michael Liner was charged down and popped up in the air, Leeds didn't hesitate. He just come straight through and dived for that ball. We'll see it here. Michael Liner, the kick gets charged down. It's up in the air. And you watch number 15 for Australia, Andrew Leeds, just come straight through. It's my ball, and he takes it cleanly and sets it up for Australia. Well done.
Well, what an impressive day it's been for young Andrew Leeds. It's a long way from Granville Park to Eden Park, but the young man has been so safe at the back. Big throw to Hobbs. Brewer. Brewer's had an outstanding match for New Zealand. Bodica to Stone. Stanley wrapped up by Papworth. He still got the pass away. Hickareed went without it. And Australia has been caught offside. The referee was playing the advantage. And this one right out in front of the goalposts, 25 metres out. So Steve McDowell just wiping the ball for Kieran Crowley. "24 minutes to go in the test. For Australia, Leeds a try, Liner a conversion and 2 penalties. Crowley has kicked 2 penalties also for New Zealand. Straightforward kick here for Kieran Crowley. No bother with that one. 3 points the difference. Well, it looks as though it's going to be yet another nail-biter. Still 23 minutes to go. Australia won the first test at Athletic Park, Wellington by a point. And now Alan Jones and the Australian team may have to put up with another cliffhanger result. Crowley. To Bodica. They're running from inside their 22. Kerwin, or it's Green. And a fine left-footed kick by Craig Green. They've swept play 75 metres upfield.
Again, we let New Zealand off the hook. Just about every time we've done a long kick-off, they've elected to run the ball right across the field, and still Campese was some 30, 40 metres behind. He should have been up there. I think Farr Jones or a breakaway should have been across covering.
Cutler got it. Rodriguez took it well. Loose ball back for Farr Jones. Well, there was no composure in that situation. They just rushed it. And it needs the cool head of Andrew Leeds there, and also Andy Slack, just to steady things down. Oh, that's a shocker from Bodica. Slack slipped it back. The ball's slippery at the moment. Here's Andy Leeds. Around Green. Now it's Kirk. Bodica slips it back. Seven metres into New Zealand's territory.
The Australian backline, if they pull them, if they've really got a hold possession, they've got to be really positive. They just can't afford to make mistakes.
Jones going up the touchline. Play back to the 22. Don't think Crowley's going to run it out from there, is he? We've seen some audacious play from New Zealand today, but that would have been stretching it a bit too far. Arthur Stone. Matthew Burke. He's following. It's not a bad kick. Crowley there. Courageous mark by Kieran Crowley. And Mike Brewer again back in support. They play on quickly. They've caught Australia napping here. Jock Hobbs. Poitevin wasn't napping, no. I think they were looking for the penalty. Australia hadn't retired the 10. So that one backfired, and now Australia has the penalty. Australia perhaps a little fortunate in that situation.
Maybe they were, Gordon, but I still think the All Blacks is trying to do too much. You know, there's no need to try and take quick penalty taps like that. Admittedly, they were trying to get an extra 10 metres by giving Australia an offside penalty, as Crowley's doing here, but they should have just put it into touch.
That's the left boot there of the Cowboy.
I think Australia were a little bit fortunate to get that penalty. Admittedly, I think Cowboy Shaw was using his boot, but I think it was trying to rake the ball back. I don't think he hit one of Australia's players at all.
Australia 12, New Zealand 9. New Zealand scored the first points with a penalty. But since levelling, Australia's been in front all the way. Pushed it wide. Still Australia leads by 3 points. Liner 3 out of 7 after starting so well. It's going to be tough going. 19 minutes remaining. Kieran Crowley finding touch on the halfway line. He really looked for the gap in the Australian backs there, and there was no one at home on the touchline. Campbell got a hand, but Pearce got the rebound. McDowell. Steve McDowell, the former New Zealand judo champion, does well. Bodica has shed the bandage. Cowboy Shaw. Crowley. Kerwin. Touch judge has his flag up. And Arthur Stone was over the goal line. But a foot definitely going into touch. Well, the New Zealanders must be wondering what they had to do to score a try in this game. They've thrown everything at the Australians. Campbell got that one. But New Zealand drive in, and it's been stole by Wetton. Sheer strength. Australia in trouble here. Bodica. Stone. Arthur Stone. Bodica. Jarring tackle from Liner. Leads out there again. Harthill goes in. So does Far Jones. Far Jones now trying to rake it back with his foot. Brett Papworth. Big run from Papworth. Slack. He had no support. And a little bit of inventive play there from Papworth. No room to move at all. And Australia out of the danger zone. Gary Knight, quick throw in. Andy Slack, still in trouble. Well, we've seen a few boots go missing today.
Again, Papworth has shown that he's Australia's most dangerous player. He stepped, around 3 or 4 New Zealanders, jumped over one Australian, stepped around, I think, Stanley, and really let the ball go to Andrew Slack, who clapped on the pace. That's what we need more of that individual brilliance by Slack, and try and involve Campuzzi and Liner and Leeds into it. All these young guys need to be more involved in trying to attack the New Zealanders rather than just letting the New Zealanders do all the attacking.
So 16 minutes now remaining in the game. Australia leading by 3. Stern faces all round. Liner. Kerwin's underneath it. Papworth coming through. Good tackle by Papworth. Here's Liner now. Kirk throws a wild pass. Here's Slack coming through on Crowley. New Zealand with Green in trouble. Liner has it. Can they get it back, Australia? Here's Papworth. What can he do? Rodriguez. Poitevin there first. Papworth. Nowhere to go. Did he get there? The referee says he got there. The referee says he scored a try. No. The touch judge, belatedly, Mr. Francis, raises his flag.
We'll see Papworth go for that corner. I thought he was out when he went to reach the ball. Yeah, his leg was clearly out before he put the ball over the line.
Andrew Slack arguing vehemently with the referee, but clearly Papworth was into touch. You don't get any closer to the goal line than this. Well, almost a professional penalty. Australia played on quickly. The referee says no, we'll have the kick from the mark. Lawton was over the line with the ball. Well, it's all happening here at Eden Park.
Well, that was unfortunate. Tommy Lawton just got a little bit excited. He must have realised, or we didn't realise that the penalty had to be taken on the mark rather than where it was given, on the 15-metre line.
There's a big push from the Australians. Almost a tight head there. Oh, loose ball here for Crowley. How did he get that one away? Peter Gregg.
Yes, well, I think it's come to the stage now where the All Blacks have thrown just about everything at the Australians. They're very, very tired, and the Australians have withstood the storm, and now are coming back. If we score here, and there's every possibility that we will, I think it'll just be a bit too much for the All Blacks to come back.
Good jump by Tyneman. Poitevin coming round at the front. New Zealand desperate to wrap him up. Miller goes in. He can see it. And not allowing fair release against number 1, Steve McDowell. On the wrong side of the ball as well. There's no way he was going to let that one come out. And so Liner with another opportunity, just 5 metres in from the touchline.
Well, I think I'd have to agree with what Peter Gregg's saying. The All Blacks are starting to tire. They're starting to make more and more mistakes. They just can't afford opportunities like this where Australia were going to get the ball, but they just deliberately held on to it. They made no effort to release it at all, and it was subsequently penalised.
No Australian touring side has won a 3-test series here on New Zealand soil. Well, if Liner gets this one, at least there's no chance of another 13-12 result. On the other hand, if New Zealand scored a try, that would put them in the lead by 13-12. Light rain falling again. Can Michael Lynagh do it for Australia? This could be a match winner. It's straight through. New Zealand will find it hard to come back now.
Well, that was a magnificent kick by Michael Lynagh. What we need now is to put it out of our territory. All of a sudden reverse the roles that New Zealand have been displaying all day and really put pressure on these All Blacks. I don't know with 10 minutes, with over 10, 15 minutes to go, whether they can withstand the Australian pressure.
Australia ahead, 15-9. Steve Cutler. Poitevin goes in, slips it back. Lynagh, a good clearing kick. 9 metres from the halfway line. New Zealand needing a converted try. A draw is no good for Australia because New Zealand are the holders. Great jump by Tyneman. Off the boot. Lawton, the tackler. Lawton kept it in play. Cutler now to Lynagh. Well, he was watching the defence that time.
Australia just can't afford to make mistakes. If it means making a mistake, you're better off just holding the ball, waiting for everybody to come around you. We just can't afford to throw away possession.
Ten minutes to go. The All Blacks now desperate. Boddicker with a knock on. He went without it. Farr Jones again, working on that short side. Crowley. Campese tried to reap it back. Boddicker to Kirk. Stone, quick hands to Stanley. Australia appears to have them covered. Kerwin stood in the tackle and passed to Reid.
This is exactly what I spoke about earlier. New Zealand are still trying to do too much. The ball's very greasy. They're getting very tight. Australia coming up in one line of defence, and that's what we've got to do for the next 10 minutes.
Nine minutes to go. Andrew leads. Papworth inside. Jarring tackle by Shaw. Game slipping away from New Zealand. 9 minutes to go. Crowley in. Here's Boddicker. Lovely run from Boddicker. Ankle tap by Papworth. Stanley. Joe Stanley. Smokin' Joe. Intercepted by Miller. Poitevin was there. Knocked out of the way by Hobbs. Who wants it? New Zealanders playing the ball on the ground. Penalty Australia. 10-metre line. Lynagh successful here. He could bring home the cup to Australia.
Again, it was Papworth who really stopped that dangerous run by Boddicker. Boddicker appeared to be away, but Papworth in his desperation just ankle tapped him. We'll see it here. Boddicker does a beautiful loop around, I think it's
Crowley.
If Boddicker could have got away, would have given Green a clear run to the line, but Papworth just ankle tapped him.
Now what's New Zealand here? Joe Stanley picked up the ball and he was breathing steam, but Miller got in the way. Poitevin was there for Australia. Hobbs came in, and now New Zealand play the ball on the ground. Jock Hobbs had pushed it back there to David Kirk. This kick could clinch the Bledisloe Cup for Australia. 7 minutes remaining. This for a 9-point lead. He's done it! Michael Lynagh has just brought up 200 points in Test match rugby. $14 points for him. And what a way to do it.
Well, Gordon, it was great. It's put us just a little bit extra, a bit clear, and you can expect the All Blacks to really come back here.
The All Blacks certainly will go hard to the wire, but Australia now with this 9-point lead. Lynagh finding touch, 11 metres from the halfway line.
Australia can't afford to rest, even though we've got a 9-point lead with some 7 or 8 minutes to go. We just got to keep on going, keep on going. The All Blacks are still trying to attack, and the way they're playing at the moment, it's still a possibility that they can score 2 quick tries.
Buttiger to Stone, and here's the loop from Buttiger. Crowley to Buttiger again, a double loop. Good defence from Campese. Well, the All Blacks running across field that time, and Australia just shadowing across field.
Well, Buttiger's really trying everything. I think he handled the ball 3 times in that play, but Campese, to his credit, come from the blindside wing and really shattered him all the way across the field and made the vital tackle.
Australian forwards strong. Tyneman just controlling. Safety first. 6 minutes to go. Michael Lynagh, 4 penalty goals and a conversion. A try scored by Andrew Leeds. Far Jones, so strong. Miller has it and smuggles the ball back to Far Jones. Kerwin. They've got to do something, and they've got to do it quickly. Kerwin, a very strong runner. Craig Green. Campese across with the tackle. So too was little Brett Papworth.
Well, again, it was Brett Papworth who made the original tackle on Kerwin and then decided to get up and make sure that Green was well and truly put over the sideline.
5 minutes remaining. Australia leading by 18-9. Ten-metre line, New Zealand territory. Still the light rain falls. Miller tapped the ball back. Picked up by Rodriguez and cleared to Lynagh. The outside backs are onside. Crowley harassed by Slack. Lynagh. Very cool play there from the Australian 5'8".
Well, that was much better play by Michael Lynagh. He's putting those high balls up, starting to control the play.
David Kirk. Leeds in good position. What a day Andrew Leeds has had. A match he can always cherish. 24 metres out from the New Zealand goal line. There's Brian Smith yelling support. The other reserve, Ian Williams, who's had a very good tour. Smith, the baby of the team. New Zealand player going down for attention. But Alan Jones must know now that the Bledisloe Cup belongs to Australia. Only the 5th time in the history of this great trophy will Australia win the Bledisloe Cup. Well, the All Black selectors, I think, smiling for the first time now. BJ Lahore, the very affable New Zealand coach, a real gentleman. This is only the 2nd loss of his coaching career. The first was at Wellington, but the All Blacks certainly have played the game in a positive manner this afternoon. But the Australians, I'm sure, will have a reserved seat on QF 44 tomorrow. Here's Kerwin coming in, but they're over-elaborating now, New Zealand. Inside their 22. Australia looking for the crumbs. Miller cleared it. Here's Campese. He's almost caught cold out on the wing. Little Papworth, the magical man, finding space. Liner. Now it's Matt Burke. 22-metre dropout. About 2.5 minutes to go. New Zealand have to try everything now. Oh, what a tackle by Tyneman on his opposite number, Brewer. Shaw's back there. He got away from Harthill. Farr Jones wrapped him up. New Zealand forwards very slow to the breakdown now. Farr Jones. Campese was away, but the pass was forward.
Well, there, David Campese smiling. I don't suppose he minds now that Australia 9 points in front.
2 minutes to go. Another New Zealand man injured. But Farr Jones has worked the short side in the second half so effectively. Kept the ball close to the touchline. They were the instructions of the Australian coach, Alan Jones. He's drummed that into the side at training. New Zealand down, but far from disgrace this afternoon. There's Chilla Wilson, the man who was manager of the Wallaby team on the Grand Slam tour. Sweet revenge for him too, because he was also manager in '82. Marty Berry, very keen to get out for his first test. And this very elusive runner, Frano Botica, the Yugoslav Maori, unfortunately for his side, leaves the field. And New Zealand a man down at the moment.
Well, it's quite obvious that New Zealand are going to run the ball, but they've only got 4 backs. Green has got to come out and play in the full-back position.
The doctor's got to see Botica to rule him unfit. Here's Stone. Trying to work a loop. Australia could score if New Zealand aren't careful. Here they go. Farr Jones. Overlap for Campese. He's there! Australia has won the cup. David Campese is overjoyed. Look at the elation in the Australian team. Campese hasn't seen the ball today, but that makes it all worthwhile.
Well, it had to come. New Zealand were trying just far too much, and this time Farr Jones picked up the ball, threw the long one to Campese. He hasn't had many opportunities this hole today, and when he saw that break, he went straight for that line and scored. What a great try.
Peter Gregg, you played in the first 2 tests. What a moment for Australia.
Oh, it's a great moment. It's a great moment for the team. And you'll have to excuse me, Gordon. I'm going to go and break open the champagne.
So just over a minute remaining. And David Campese scoring a try just as he did in the first test. And there's no stopping that man. 21st try in test matches for David Campese.
It's been a magnificent effort by the Australian side. They had to withstand tremendous pressure by the All Blacks, who continually ran the ball in the first 40 minutes. The defence was just up to magnificent, and they've just come back.
And also the fitness of the Australian team has really come to the fore this afternoon. The touring fitness as Liner lines up for his second conversion. 30 seconds to go. The crowd are right round the field now. 25 seconds to go. 13 points the margin for Australia. And as the ball comes onto the field, 15 seconds to go. What a moment for Alan Jones. There it is. Referee Mr. Anderson blows no side. Australia has won the Bledisloe Cup for only the 5th time in its history. defeating the All Blacks by 22-9. Australia scoring 2 tries to 0, and the golden boot of Michael Lynagh with 4 penalties and a conversion.